You know, it's one of them where it's a bit tit for tat, where you could look at both sides and see bits in both sides and think, oh, I quite like that. And then you look at the other one, you're like, it's like, for example, I quite like Sheffield Wednesday as well as Sheffield United because I like the whole history behind Sheffield Wednesday and the whole Hillsborough. You know, I like their ground and the history. You know, like they're one of the oldest clubs around and the history and all that. It's interesting. You know, these owls, you know, it's interesting. I like a lot of their shirts, like a lot of their retro shirts. They're really cool. I like it. You know what I mean? But I do come from a family of Sheffield United fans. So realistically, I'm a Blade. You know what I mean? But like, I do find like Sheffield Wednesday interesting and Owls like interesting. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, the whole, yeah, I've said all that already. But you know what I mean? It's like when people criticise me for wearing different football teams and all that. It's like, how can you be loyal to one football team? There's so many football teams in the world. Like, how can you only just like one? If you really like football, if you're really passionate about football, you tend to just get into other teams, don't you? You tend to get invested in other teams. There's other leagues as well. Like, they're not even in the same league, fam. Like, people are like, oh, you can't support Man City and Sheffield United. Well, I can because they're in separate leagues, mate. Yes, they are quite rival teams. They're quite the rival teams, and they have gone head to head many times in finals and that. You know, they are rival teams. Obviously, there's a big rivalry between Sheffield and Manchester, of course. In general, yeah. Yeah. Said that.